This story starts where so many modern controversies do, with a perfectly normal, entertaining decision that somehow turns into a national argument about identity, politics, and who gets to be considered mainstream. The NFL announced that Bad Bunny will be headlining the Super Bowl halftime show, and within hours, the music is barely the point anymore.
Because this isn't really about the halftime show. It's about people who project onto it. Bad Bunny isn't just an artist in this conversation. He's becomes a symbol. To some, he represents global pop dominance and Latino visibility. To others, he's framed as a political statement that they didn't consent to do during football.
And that's the tension we're unpacking here. Not is Bad Bunny good? The subjective and honestly irrelevant. The real story is how quickly a culture booking turns into culture war flashpoint, and how outrage gets manufactured around the entertainment that dares to reflect what America actually looks like in 2026.
This segment is about why this backlash happens, who benefits from it, and why the Super Bowl halftime show has somehow become one of the most emotionally loaded stages in American life, despite the fact that most people use it to refill drinks and argue about commercials.
It's wild, it's twisted, headlines hitting like a slap and you missed it. It's madness, I'm tapped out, live on the scene and I can't find my way out.
And welcome to the wonderful episode of the Convolute podcast. I'm your host, Liz. I'm with Tyrant Dominus, aka Jesus. And if it's your first time listening, like, subscribe, drop us a comment, a rating, if you will, please. Here's a clean timeline, minus the opinion soup. The NFL, the Apple Music as the title sponsor, and Rock Nation as producer and partner, announced that Bad Bunny would headline the Apple Music Super Bowl, Super Bowl 50? No. Halftime show. I'm not positive. I'm not fully on my Roman numeral numbers.
Oh, how the school system has failed you, Liz. The announcement wasn't a random press release in the middle of the week. It was rolled out as a moment. During the big national broadcast, it was announced during Sunday Night Football in late September of 2025, which matters because that's when the discourse engine gets its first big gulp of oxygen.
The performance itself is scheduled on February 8th, 2026, just recent, at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California, as part of the Super Bowl 50. I'm sorry, I really don't know. Broadcast coverage.
Since Liz can, let me just look it up.
Coverage is set to run NBC and streaming via Peacock with Spanish language coverage also part of the package. Telemundo is listed in some coverage.
So let me see. Super Bowl. '60th.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Okay. Yeah, so by the time you're listening to this, the Super Bowl has been over, and we have probably already watched the whole Convolute that is the Super Bowl halftime show that we are about to discuss. But so we'll see what our thoughts is afterwards. But let's see what people have been saying for the last couple of weeks coming up to the Super Bowl that is about to happen. So then, as the Super Bowl has approached, and by the time this is going to be out is over, you get a standard pregame media cycle. You get previews, what's to expect, pieces, and press availability. You know, Bad Bunny did a few pre-show press conferences where he framed the performance as a celebration, more of a huge party energy than career coronation.
Alongside the official lead-up, you also got the unofficial lead-up, fan events, and cultural buzz. Reuters even covered a Bad Bunny lookalike contest in San Francisco tied to the week of the atmosphere, which is a good marker for how big the moment has become beyond just music fans.
So, strictly speaking, what happened is simple. The NFL booked a global superstar for a halftime and did a big network announcement. The usual Super Bowl hype machine spun up. The controversy comes after in how people interpreted what the booking means. So, Okay, so the controversy isn't Bad Bunny is performing. The controversy that we're talking about is the stories people tell themselves about what the performances mean. And once those stories catch fire, the halftime show becomes a proxy war for politics, for language, for identity.
The backlash has a few reoccurring claims, such explicit, some implied, and what's important is the complaints aren't all coming from the same place. There's the normal, I don't like this artist crowd, and then there's this attack on America crowd. The second group is driving most of the loud discourse. One big line is the NFL booking Bad Bunny is political. Even if the performance itself was framed as entertainment, the claim just gets tied to Bad Bunny's past statement around immigration enforcement and protest, plus a broader argument that the league is taking a side.
Then the tell is a lot of people don't mean politics. They mean a person I associate with politics is visible, and they treat the existence on TV as a political act, which is a deeply unserious way to live. So, my question here, Liz, is if the NFL books a country artist, is that politics, or is it just only politics when it's Spanish? What are your thoughts here?
I think it's because it's Hispanic, and even though this person is born and raised in the United States,
Yeah, he's Puerto Rican.
Americans, he's Puerto Rican, yes, but again, a part of the United States,
Yeah.
right?
No, yeah, he's a U.S. citizen. Yeah, which people forget.
Yep. Yeah, I know. It's crazy how people don't know their geography. It blows my mind all the time. Or even the concept of like, oh yeah, they are part of the United States, y'all. It's just like some of the Samoan islands out there is part of the U.S. We don't talk about it, but it's there. It's part of us. So I think it's funny. And I think because of the other artists that is with them, Green Day, which I am such a huge fan, by the way. I'm excited to see them too. So.
All right, then what's the next claim that they have here?
Another repeated point that he performs primarily in Spanish, and the critics frame that the exclusion is un-American. But claim gets repeated in a lot of conservative commentary, and some opt framing. Why is the biggest American event not in English?
Which is funny because the Super Bowl is already not for Americans; it's for the entire planet. Advertisers, alien archaeologists who one day excavate our guacamole commercials.
Do you think people are mad about the language or mad about the language that represents to them?
I think more so it's the second, Liz. I think so. Mostly in this climate, we're not as we don't super talk about politics on this thing, but when it comes up intertwined with these kind of stories, this is a very, very stupid story. That's why we're talking about it, because it's just ridiculous. But it definitely, because it's not in my language, that people get upset. And that's where we're getting this to the point where because this is a for the most part, it's a global thing. Like, most people watch the show because so people are trying to watch the Super Bowl for a multitude of things. Football fans are watching the game for football. People outside that scope are watching the Super Bowl for the halftime show, the non-football fan, because they want to see a huge performance that is played live. Like, that's how you get the non-football people to watch football. Like, that's normally how I watch the Super Bowl, because I don't watch football, but I would watch the Super Bowl and I would watch the commercials. So,
right, I'm a commercials fan too, right there on that end, and the halftime show. Sometimes it's gay artists, and you have to. This is the closest sometimes you'll be able to see them too.
Exactly. So you're getting two different audiences of football players. Like, you do not need to get other people who already watch football to watch football. You need to get that audience that doesn't watch football to watch football. So, and a lot of non-English speaking people do not watch. There's some, what I mean is like you're
It's
getting
a very small percentage of American football compared to football, which is aka soccer.
no. What I mean is like outside of the American football, there other people are watching it just for this specific concert.
Yeah.
So what's the other claim, Liz, that people are talking about here?
This is where it gets very 2026. Some figures aren't just complaining, they're actively trying to redirect attention into alternative programming. The San Francisco Chronicle reported a GOP candidate spending millions urging viewers to skip Bad Bunny and to stream an all-American halftime show promoted by Turning Point USA with the country artists like Kid Pop, Rock, and Gabby Barrett.
That's not criticism. That's marketing campaign wearing outrage as a Halloween costume. So, Liz, what do you think? Is this a boycott or just an ad to buy a cowboy hat on it?
I think it's more of to buy a cowboy hat on it. I mean, I get it. They are boycotting, but it's so stupid at the same time. It's, I don't know. I feel like we can't accept like 15 minutes of Hispanic music.
Well, the thing is, like you said, like you said, it's going to be Bad Bunny with Green Day.
And Green Day is an American, and they speak English. They're straight out of Oregon, Washington, but
Pacific Northwest.
Like, Pacific Northwest, yes, exactly. I mean, what's not American about them? They're getting both.
They're anarchists, Liz. They're anarchists.
I know. I don't care. I love them, but I love how they speak out. I mean, we all want people who love to speak out, right? People are just mad about the speaking out. They want to put blinders on, basically, right?
Or they think of the idea of speaking out because of them performing. It's like them speaking out, even though they're just playing music. They got hired to play a concert, basically. And because they got hired, people are taking that as the point. That's kind of the gist of this story.
Yeah.
And then what are your thoughts here? What are your thoughts here with another... So during the halftime show, there's going to be a second halftime show on a different site altogether for...
Which is bullshit. That's not really part of the game then, That's not... You're not really watching the football game then. You're taking away from... what all these people have put into commercials and to watch and they build up to the halftime show. I know some of the commercials, they'd be like, oh yeah, get ready for Bad Bunny and Green Day. You know what I mean? They talk about we see this all the time every year. And because it's somebody who looks political, they are being crazy about this. They're just trying to Americanize it. Come on, really? Relax. It's just a show. It's just the Green Day is back on tour. They have a great new album. And Bad Bunny has their albums, and they want to promote their music too. It's a promotion. It's really just like a show off. Hey, I made it. I got casted. It's more of a speak out. Like, hey, I'm here. I made it. I made it this far. I'm actually showing up on like something we talk about for years on end. I mean, we talked about Janet Jackson and Timberlake forever in a day because of the oops, right? We still talk about some of the great, singers that show up on that. I don't know.
Exactly.
Ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous.
All right. So will you not be catching the second halftime show then?
No.
All right. So what's the final claim that people have on this whole thing?
Some backlash explicitly frames him as anti-American, often pointing to his criticism of ICE and the broader climate around immigration enforcement. ESPN reported that NFL has stood by the booking despite criticism from Trump administration and supporters. So this claim is just random treats. It's part of the broader political news cycle around the event.
And there it is. For some people, this isn't about music at all. It's about punishing a celebrity for not agreeing with their politics. And it's using the Super Bowl as a stage for that punishment.
Is it fair to call this halftime show controversy, or is it really an immigration enforcement controversy disguised as an entertainment coverage?
So that's the big question here that we're going to see how people have been reacting online. We'll see how the backlash has been. So by the time this episode airs, it has been over. So we'll get to see a little bit more. So let us know down in the comments some of the things that we will be discussing. We might got right or maybe got wrong, and did anything go crazy. But yeah, definitely this quote controversy has been a shitstorm. But is in my opinion, it's just people getting mad for mad's sakes because it's not what they want. No one gets exactly what they want. But so let's continue and onto this story.
On the other side, you got a ton of support framing this as a representation and pride, especially from Puerto Rico. Rudo's covered how his hometown in Vega Baja is celebrating the moment as a cultural milestone. One of ours is on the biggest stage.
So the controversy is basically one group sees a global Latin superstar doing the biggest show in America, and the other sees it a threat to their preferred version of America. So Liz, let me ask you this question. Why when people say this isn't America, what they really mean is this isn't my America. So whose America is it then, you know?
Right. This is where we see the white conservative side. It's their America. Whereas a lot of us who are very culturally diverse be like, hey, this is everyone's America. I mean, this is the part of America. Again, these are American citizens. And what is so different? Oh, because of the color of their skin, they're a little bit browner. It's ridiculous. So it's a little ridiculous. This is not, this is an American thing. It's flat out. They are American. They are an American person. They are, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand this. It blows my freaking mind. It just blows my mind.
Because yeah, all the people of his hometown are literally celebrating someone who rose from their hometown to play on the biggest stage in one of the biggest shows in America. Like, why shouldn't they themselves be celebrating? And at the end of the day, yeah, it's because people have been picturing quote their America, because the people's Americas has drastically changed over these last couple decades, right? And it always changes. It always changes, right? Because there's always something happening in the world. There's always something that changes the scales and different things. And currently, a lot is happening at this time that we don't really talk about on the show because it's less funny than it is anything to talk about, but it's happening. Like, we don't talk about it specifically because it's not as quote goofy as talking about the Super Bowl controversy, right? Because this is ridiculous compared to some of the shit that's happening in the current state of affairs, or has been happening for the last couple months, and
almost a couple years, I feel, at this point.
So, but definitely what people have been saying, that my America, right, like these days, it's not the same thing as my America probably 2 decades ago, right?
Right.
So this is where things are changing. So
yeah, we did talk about this a few years ago, where we were saying there was going to be more cultural integration in America. It's always been the point. We were phasing out, basically. So here's the clean separation that gets lost in the shouting. There's an entertainment layer, which is the NFL booking a global pop star for a 12 to 15 minutes performance. And then there's the immigration politics layer, where pundits and politicians shoot that booking like a policy announcement.
Right. So the halftime show is not legislation. It's not a border bill. It's not a cabinet appointment. It's choreography. It's staging. It's a camera crew sprinting like their life depends on it.
But Bad Bunny is one of the artists where the two layers can't help but overlap, because he's not just famous. He's also a symbol people already have opinions about. He's a Puerto Rican Spanish language global dominant, and he's been outspoken in the past about issues adjacent to immigration enforcement. So the politics aren't necessarily in the set list, but there are in a way people talk about him.
And the controversy thrives on this ambiguity because if you're mad at him politically, you don't have to say I'm mad at him politically. You just say I'm mad at because this isn't what the Super Bowl should be, which is vibe-based arguments that can't be fact-checked.
If we're being honest, the entertainment layer is a basic. The NFL tries to book whoever will maximize attention and value and global reach. Super Bowl halftime shows are designed to be talked about, whether you love them or hate them, because the entire event is an advertisement cathedral.
And Bad Bunny checks all the boxes. Huge audience, huge streaming footprint, huge cultural presence. From the business standpoint, it's not mysterious. It's booked the biggest possible act. Just like we were just talking a little bit ago, you are getting the outside. You're getting the outside audience to watch the Super Bowl. So yeah, this is where we're talking about. This is where we were just talking a little bit earlier. Just the entertainment layer of this. Yeah, you're just trying to get an audience that does not watch Super Bowl or football to watch Super Bowl to get the numbers. You need advertiser. They want eyes on the game for advertisers because that's what it is, right? That's what it is, and that's what it's always been, right? So
it's about the great commercials. We talk about those commercials. Oh, do you remember this commercial from this year or that year? We talk about it for almost a year before the next one pops up and it makes it popular again. Again, we look for the same people that show up year after year trying to make the best commercials. The last couple of years have been shot. Hopefully this year could be that recovery for the commercials where we can see the greatest ones come alive, you know? We had some great ones in the past. Why not start again, you know?
Yeah.
It's a nostalgic thing. I think I personally am not a huge football fan. I understand the concept. I love watching the game occasionally, not often. When it's on, it's great. But for me, it is, it's the commercials. It's the commercials. It's the halftime show. It's the Puppy Bowl that plays intermittently in between the game. We see this and it's fun. It's enjoyable. We catch the outside group to come in. I am that outside group. I am not a huge football fan, but this is my moment to go, oh, I like that commercial. Oh, that's a great, oh, I recognize that face, or it's all about nostalgic and to catch in. Oh, I've never seen this product before. Let's see how it tastes the next time we go out to grocery shop.
Exactly.
Right? Oh, that new car. Oh, that looks cool. I wonder if somebody would like that car.
Oh, these commercials. Maybe we should do a video just reacting to all the Super Bowl commercials.
That'd be fun.
All right. So what's the other side looking like, Liz?
The politics layer begins when critics treat the booking as a statement. The NFL is endorsing something. Sometimes that something is immigration politics. Sometimes it's American identity. Sometimes it's just coded discomfort, language, race, and who's at the center of the biggest stage.
And that's where keep politics out of sports turns into rhetoric weapon. Because a lot of people, politics doesn't mean politics. It means I had to acknowledge a group of people I don't want to think about while I'm trying to watch my large adult sons crash into each other.
Also, people conflate a performance identity with a performance message. Even if it performs a straight-up party set, critics can still claim it's political because their mere presence of Spanish language music at the center bowl feels like a cultural shift they don't like.
And the All-American Alternative Show is basically the politics layer turning into a product. It's not only outrage, it's monetized outrage. Skip him and watch our version of America instead.
Do you remember Pitbull, Jennifer Lopez? I mean, there were so many great Hispanic people that took the stage. And why is it causing a rift today?
Well, it happened the other year when Kendrick performed too. Remember, there was backlash there too, and because of some of the set pieces and songs chosen. Like I still hear that set specifically every once in a while because I enjoyed that the blend of the music, how it came out. But and I haven't like watched that performance, but I listened to it. But like when I first watched it, like I remember the aftermath because I looked at Twitter because Twitter, you know how I'll be interested to see how Twitter goes after the performance because you know how people are going to be. That'll be interesting to see. But it was interesting to see how much people hated the Kendrick performance. But it was like, in my opinion, one of the craziest, mostly because of when he dropped. I forgot the name of that song. When he was beefing with Drake. But you know what song I'm talking about.
I think so.
So when really? Oh my god, Liz, you are.
I'm not. I am not a Kendrick Lamar Kendrick. Yeah.
But no, but the Kendrick and Drake fight was happening so big. We almost did a whole episode about them.
Oh God, it's been a minute. I'm sorry.
Man, Liz is culturally insensitive.
Whoa, no, I have other things going on.
You're right. Correction. You're pop culture insensitive.
Pop culture. That's probably it. I am getting old.
So you don't know what's happening in these scenes anymore. All right.
No, I don't. The collision happens because halftime is a rare moment where everyone, sports fans, non-sports fans, casual viewers, international viewers, are watching the same thing at the same time. That creates a perfect stage for a symbolic conflict.
It's the cultural town square, except the town square is sponsored by beer and trucks.
So if you wanted to interject a narrative, this is what America is becoming, that is what they're forcing on you. This is representation, this is propaganda, this is your biggest possible megaphone.
Which is why the discourse is never about the actual performance that we'll see. It's until after it happens that, like I was mentioning earlier, that the controversy arrives early because early outrage gives the longest attention runaway. So Liz, what do you think gets more clicks? Halftime shows will be fun or halftime show will destroy America? What do you think has?
I think it will be the destroy America part because I feel like that'd be the more click. Wait, what? What's going on? You know, the click, click, click.
Yeah, because
it would be fun.
I think sadly, from just a general standpoint, we are just so more prone to negative comments, right? As people, like even just to your own thing, if someone compliments you 100 times. But just says one negative thing about you, you'll probably be thinking of that one negative thing all day, compared to those other. That's kind of sadly how we as people, for the most part, are. Because we'll always because do you ever have those moments where you just have that twinge of a memory of something either cringy or like bad you did, and like just comes rushing back to you. I'm like, ooh.
It does. I don't know, almost periodically. Yeah. And honestly, all my years of working, I can still remember some of the worst ones from years ago, and it still plays out to my day life today. That's how bad it is.
It's one of those things. Yeah, we're just
it's stuck. It's stuck. I'm like permanently scarred the way I am.
And it's because they were just so prone to just remember negative things, right? I think, yeah. And that's how it is when you're just looking for these things. So, well, what else is happening here then as we continue with this?
Once the booking is public and the backlash starts bubbling, the media doesn't cover it like a single story. It fractures it into lanes, each with its own incentives, and the incentives matter because they determine whether it gets treated like a cultural milestone, a political flashpoint, or a profitable outrage product.
And the weird point is, the halftime show hasn't even happened yet at the time of we're recording this. It's over by now, but what we're fighting over is a porn that exists mostly in vibes and projection. So here are some of the lanes people are going into.
This lane sticks closest to what happened and who responded, ESPN's reporting is a good example. It frames the situation as the NFL standing by the booking, despite criticism from Trump administration and supporters, placing it in the context of the league's past political pressure points.
This lane at least tries to answer, is the controversy real power or just noise? It treats the NFL's decision like an actual institution choice, not a comment section ghost story. So my question here then, does the NFL ever do anything that isn't pre-calculated? Like, is the league capable of accidental moral stance? Liz, what are your thoughts? Like, it's hard. Go for it.
I think they're quite capable of just trying to get the right people in for the right music, for the right, who's going to watch kind of thing. I don't think this is a political stance whatsoever, but people are taking it like that, right?
Yeah, I think for the most part, because there has been a lot of NFL controversies for different players and things like that. But those are on an individual level, not a whole organizational level, right? At the end of the day, as we've been saying before, is that they're trying to get as many eyes possible here, to get on their show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the next lane?
Then it becomes the op-eds and analyze pieces, though. What does this mean, industrial complex? These pieces tend to build arguments around language, national identity, assimilation, representation, and whether this booking reflects a shift in cultural center. A clean example of the vibe in the Northeastern Explainer style piece, framing from the debate around language and politics, less scandal, more here's why this is becoming a flashpoint.
Op-eds are where Bad Bunny performing becomes America's at a crossroads, which is hilarious because the Crossroads is a sponsored concert between second and third quarter.
Is it a halftime show actually a cultural mirror, or do we just use it as one of those everyone's watching?
It feels like both because the way people just have become accustomed to. But at the end of the day, the average individual who is watching the Super Bowl is either watching it just for the teams, or like you and me, for the things outside that, the commercials, the actual program. But definitely, there's some people take it as a cultural mirror but that's just because of how cracked, I would say, how cracked the mirror is, in my opinion, because they are just seeing a little piece that they can still see themselves in, instead of a nice full mirror, if that analogy works. What do you think? Or does it
analogy's off, but okay.
What do you mean?
I get it. It feels, I don't know. Is it a full meal? I don't know. But I don't feel like, I think it's, here's the table, it's already set. Are we focusing on the main course? Are we focusing on the side pieces, right? The side dishes. So what are we focusing? I don't know. I think it's everything. You should be focusing on everything, not just the little things, right?
True. All right.
Cable political coverage tends to turn this into a loop, picking and framing anti-American, woke, NFL, forced politics, language controversy, then repeat it until it feels like a major national emergency. And once political figures get involved, the coverage becomes even more self-reinforcing. Politicians comment, media covers the comments, supporters react, and suddenly the reaction is the headline.
This is also where keep politics out of sports gets deployed like a stun grenade. Usually by people who are actively injecting politics into sports by yelling about the halftime show on television. So is the outrage actually authentic, Liz, or is it just content forming with a flag pin on it? Are people just getting mad? That's the other thing, is
they're getting riled up. They're just getting riled up by what they hear, right? Don't know all the facts, and the people are just getting riled up because it's, hey, why not? It's clickbait, as we talked about. Like, again, we're back to the same thing. Well, what can we get the people riled up about today,
I actually...
What tweet can we set it off?
I think it's mostly on definitely there is some outrage authenticity, but I think there are some people who are fanning the flames and trying to farm this stuff. Like there are people,
absolutely.
I can see that, like people who are making tweets because you can get paid for engagement, like just fanning these like things, just to get some outrage, not only on this but other things. But if this is the current topic everyone's talking about on the biggest week, you want to be farming that stuff, right? Like you want to be making those couple $100 on that tweet. So yeah, there is, I think it's a mix, so but more so on a lower end, that there are some people that are, what's sad is that there is some people who are actually upset about this, and that's a sad thing.
Yeah, they are definitely rolling over themselves. And it's not, and it's only going to last until the end of the Super Bowl. It'll last another week or two, and then we're on to the next big outrage, right?
Exactly.
This is the most revealing lane when outrage becomes a business plan. The San Francisco Chronicle reported a Republican candidate spent $3 million on an ad campaign urging people to skip Bad Bunny's halftime show and stream Turning Point, USA's All-American halftime show, featuring country artists like Kid Rock and Gabby Barrett.
Yes, like we mentioned earlier, there is a separate halftime show happening, and that's not a spontaneous grassroots boycott. That's it's a paid media. It's literally manufactured a controversy, then sell an alternative.
And that the alternative ecosystem is messy too. The Daily Beast reported shakeups and dropouts around Kid Rock MAGA quoted Rock the Country orbit, showing that how quickly these cultural unity music projects become polarizing brands themselves.
So, what do you think? Do you think if you spend $3 million to tell people what not to watch, are you processing or are you launching a streaming ad?
Oh, definitely. It is a streaming ad, right? Oh my word. Like, really? Well, no, you're causing the rift more than anything. This is a halftime show. You're creating the rift, right? You're producing a rift of people to watch something else. So internationally, the framing often keeps simpler and sharper. America booked a Spanish language global superstar, and some Americans are furious about it. It reads like a case study in the cultural change and a backlash. Reuters, meanwhile, are leaned into the human and cultural angle. Bad Bunny's hometown of Vega Baja, Puerto Rico, celebrating him as a source of pride and representation of the world's biggest stage.
Which is the whiplash. One lane is this is the end of the country, and the other is a kid from Vega Baja made it to the Super Bowl. Same event, two completely different Americas, apparently.
Why do you think the outside world framing is often clearer than the inside American framing?
I think this just comes from so many different perspectives that we have, and so much how divided things are these days, and how people are trying to cling to some semblance of identity, right? Everyone, that's what everyone's fighting for these days.
It's an identity. It wants to be spoken, right?
Yeah. Because the idea of becoming a united country has long been gone, I think. Everyone's fighting,
absolutely.
which is sad in a sense. Like having an individuality is not wrong, but people have I think have been now splintered into so many individualities where the unity is almost near impossible. And it's just people are now just trying to fight for their individuality by attacking anything that isn't themselves, and that's where we're at now. Because at least from outside perspective looking in, it like people are just seeing it from a box looking in. And I think it's a lot easier to see it from the outside in because we are in it, Liz, you and I, compared to if someone from across the country or not across the country, on the other side of the world, just looking in like, why are they fighting? It's the same thing.
Yeah. The takeaway here is that the Bad Bunny controversy isn't really about Bad Bunny. It's about how the Super Bowl halftime show functions like a national group chat, a rare moment where everyone is forced into the same cultural room at the same time. And when that happens, people don't just watch, they interpret, they project, they fight over what the moment represents.
And because the moment is huge and shared, it becomes useful. If you want attention, you attach your message to the biggest stage. If you want outrage, you frame a performer as a threat. If you want donations, you treat a concert like a crisis. If you want clicks, you make language and identity sound like warfare.
Underneath the noise, there are a few real forces at work. Language anxiety. For some critics, Spanish at the Super Bowl doesn't feel like an entertainment, there's a loss of control. Not because Spanish is new, but because the visibility is undeniable. Identity as politics, a performer's identity gets treated as a political act, even if the set list is a party music. Outrage as a product. The strongest evidence is when backlash becomes monetized at alternative shows, media personalities building segments, politicians using it as a talking point. This is not just accidental culture, it's engineered culture.
It's also a reminder that keep politics out of sports is often selective. A lot of folks only say it when they feel like someone else is being centered. When the halftime show reflects their own cultural comfort zone, it's just an American tradition.
And there's a more constructive way to frame it. This is what mainstream looks like now. Global pop is global. The US is multilingual. Latin music isn't just a niche. It's one of the most dominant engine in popular culture. The halftime show didn't suddenly become political. People made it political because it's forced them to notice reality.
So here are some of the real takeaways from about these initiatives. The NFL wants attention. Media wants engagement. Politicians want controversy. And the halftime show is the perfect matchbook for all these. So it has, no, you have a question?
No, I don't know. This is crazy. You know, this has been America for years, and then we're just noticing it. Come on. We've been woke for a long time, whether we want to admit it or not.
It is, it definitely is a lot of puzzle pieces clicking together and then jumbled up again and making it a mess and trying to start over.
Yeah.
Basically. So here's where we land. A halftime show is supposed to be a party, but the modern media ecosystem can't let anything just be a party because there's too much money in turning it into a fight.
If you're feeling the familiar, oh my god, people are melting down again, Joshin? Same. The best way to start the outrage machine is boring, but effective. Don't feed it. Most inflammatory clips. Don't amplify the takes that are obviously designed to make you mad.
So, if you liked how we broke this down, share our episode instead of sharing someone else's rage bait. Send it to a friend who's going to be, or who watched the Super Bowl party and needs a conversation starter besides, oh, well, that's probably over by now. But yeah.
And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a rating, a review. It actually helps more than people think, and it's the most painless way to keep the show going without turning into algorithm goblins ourselves.
Also, drop a comment in our socials. What's the most ridiculous halftime show that you've seen this year? Not the platform, just to document the insanity, like archaeologists of discourse.
And one more time, if you're going to debate this at a party, try this sentence. Is this what the performance, or what you think the performer represents? Then step back and watch the room combust.
Bye.
Going with KB, surge to a level of the block. This is a 95. Clear the night, we out, going with go. Yo, we got bees in the street. Sleepless in a bulletproof vest, reporting live from a scene that's a hot mess.